It's sponsored intro time. Head over to RL Exchange where you can buy all your favorite Rocket League items. I mean, look how crisp that looks. And you can do this on a bunch of different consoles. You can use a bunch of different payment methods and your items will be in your inventory super fast. It's super simple and you can use code DILLBOBS at checkout for 3% off. Now let's get on to this video. So the new volleyball game mode was recently added in season 2 of Rocket League Sideswipe, and after playing it a good amount, I've come up with some tips that you might want to keep in mind while playing volleyball, which should hopefully make you slightly better at the game. And I mean, it's new to us all. With time, we'll all get better at volleyball. Anyway, let's not waste any time and jump straight in to the tips. Now, every volleyball game starts with the kickoff. So how do you do a good kickoff on volleyball? Well, it's pretty much just a fast aerial. Now, if you don't play on a controller, you're gonna wanna have the boosted jump button enabled. And this allows you to do a fast aerial. Then all you wanna do off kickoff is press the boost jump button, then head straight over to the jump button and press that. So you basically do both your jumps straight away and then hold boost, and you'll be the first to the ball. Now, I've noticed there are quite a lot of players that don't do this, so if there's a player on the enemy team that doesn't do this, you will beat them to the ball 100% of the time, and it's a pretty easy goal from there most of the time. Now, a lot of people are catching on though, so if the opponent also does a fast aerial, then it's basically just kind of a collision that happens in the middle. And when this happens, sometimes what you could do is try and read their hit and notice that they're going to hit the ball first, so just back off a tiny bit and then get the counter attack, and maybe you'll be able to dunk down. But really, the fast aerial will give you the best odds at a good kickoff on volleyball. I'd also like to add, if you are in a party with someone that you can actually talk to, tell the other person on your team to get up in the air as well when you do your kickoff. Because if you and the opponent both do fast aerials and the ball kind of just sits in the air, your teammate's already in the air and they can come and slam it down, hopefully before the enemy gets the ball. But yeah, that's the first tip. Basically, do fast aerials for your kickoffs and you should be good. Now, another thing to keep in mind is, what I'd say is make sure you try and defend in the midfield and in the air. Don't try and defend by sitting in your own half on the floor. Now, the first reason is, if you manage to defend the ball and block the enemy's attack above the net, you're more likely going to score off of that defense and make a nice counter attack out of it. Now, the other reason is, if you defend from the floor in a volleyball game mode, it's a lot harder to actually save the ball, because let's say even if you successfully hit the ball back in the air from the ground, the opponent is likely already in the air because they've just had a shot, and they're most probably going to just dunk you, slam the ball back into the ground, and probably score from it. So you want to make sure you try and defend as much as you can in the air. Now, obviously, there are still some situations where being on the ground is better. If the ball's, rolling really slowly, or if, their aerial doesn't look like it's going anywhere, you can just wait on the floor. But in my opinion, having a nice early defense at the midfield in the air is really, really good in this volleyball game mode. Now, this next tip also helps out with this midfield air defense, and that's to use the ceiling dash mechanic to prepare yourself to defend or dunk your opponent. And what I mean by that is, if you go to the ceiling, you can actually just hold up and keep spamming jump, and you'll basically stay on the ceiling, you'll keep your flip, and you'll have 100% of your boost for when you need to, go down and dunk the ball, or if you need to quickly defend an aerial that the enemy has taken over. So my suggestion is, when the ball is in the opponent's half, and let's say your teammate has it, or you've just hit it over there and they're kind of messing with it in their half, just stay on the ceiling using the ceiling dash mechanic, and then when it's your time, you'll be already at the top of the map, which is normally where the ball goes, because they have to get it over the net, and then bam, you come down and you can do whatever you want with it. You can defend the shot, you can try and dunk them. It's really, really good and really useful to be using this mechanic in volleyball. Now, hopefully you guys can keep that in mind when you're playing volleyball. And one last thing I want you to keep in mind while you're playing this new game mode is never forfeit if the goal difference towards the end of the match is 1 goal difference or 2 goal difference. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say you're on the losing side of a match and the score is 3-2. And let's say there's only 10 seconds left. I mean, most of you shouldn't forfeit at this point anyway, but even if there was 1 second left and you were 3-2, this is why you shouldn't forfeit in volleyball. Because just like any other game of Rocket League, when the clock hits 0, the game doesn't end until the ball hits the ground. Now, the ball hitting the ground means that a goal has to have been scored on volleyball, because even those boost pads at both sides, if the ball hits them when it's 0 seconds, the game doesn't end. So even if you're 1 goal down at 0 seconds, if you're the person who scores that final touch on the ground with the ball, then bam, you go into overtime and you're good. So do not give up if you're only 1 goal behind towards the end. There is no point, because somebody has to score 1 goal. Now yes, they might take it and win with a 2-goal lead, but you might take it and bring it back to overtime. But more importantly, don't even forfeit if you're 2 goals down towards the end of the game, because like I said, you may be 2 goals down in the last 10 seconds, but really, all you need is 1 more goal to actually secure it, because if you get 1 more goal, then you'll only be 1 goal down, and then even if it goes to 0 seconds, you have all the time in the world to get that ball down on their half. So please, I've seen so many people forfeit when they're 2 goals down with like 10-20 seconds left, when all they really need is 1 goal, but because they think they need 2 goals in 20 seconds or 10 seconds, they think it's impossible and they forfeit. And seriously, you should not be doing this. I've seen it too much, and I don't think people understand that when the clock hits 0, there's still 1 goal that has to be scored before the end of the match. It's impossible to end the game without scoring a goal. That's what's so cool about volleyball. The literal end of the match is a goal, so it can swing either way. And there you go, guys. Those were some tips on how you can improve at volleyball, or just things to keep in mind. Hopefully it did help. And let me know in the comments, do you like volleyball? How are you getting on with it? Is it a good game mode, or do you prefer hoops? And if you have any tips yourself that you've thought of, then tell people down in the comments, and let's all get better at volleyball together. But that's it from me. If you want any more Sideswipe gameplay or tip videos, then also just drop a like on the video and let me know in the comments. I will see you guys in the next one anyway. Goodbye.